Hello students, this is Dr. Singhal. This is the second video in the series of videos to explain how to write a C++ program to grade a true-false quiz. Please watch the part 1, video 1 first. If you jump to this, you're not going to understand much, so do that. And link was sent to you in the email, the videos on the YouTube. Eventually you'll have all the links on D12. Okay. So basically, to grade a true-false quiz, what we do, we store information in 3 arrays. One array is a question array, which will include all the questions. Each question is a string. Each array member contains a question. Then there will be answer key array. Each cell of answer key array stores an answer 0 or 1. 0 is false, 1 is true. And then question array presents the question to the user, and their response, either 0 or 1, are recorded in the user response array. Finally, we compare the answer or answer key array with the user response array. And if there is a match between the corresponding array members or array cells, then they answer the question right, they get a point, otherwise they don't. Okay, so yes, last video I explained that this program, which really works with 3 arrays, has been designed using functions. And since questions are stored in a file, answers are stored in a file, input file, our first order of business is to write a function where function will take an ifstream object, bind that to an input file that actually exists and has some data in it. So we go to Xcode now, which works just like Visual Studio, and learn about some of the functions. Okay, so one of the function is this openFile function, and it takes an ifstream object by reference, and in the class on 423 it was discussed why stream objects have to be passed by reference, and that answer you should know, memorize, and remember. Okay, we also pass a string by a const reference, const because we really don't want to change this string, and this will have a message in it, and the message could be something like this, that input the name of the data file with, it could be either question or answers. Okay, so message could be either questions or answers. All right, the goal of this function is, let's read its description on the top here. So let me unfold this. So openFile function manages so that either file is opened successfully if file exists and the file has some data in it. So it makes sure the file does exist. That means if file doesn't exist, it will keep asking user until user gives the name of a file that does exist. And it also checks that it has some data in it. It doesn't check whether data is right or wrong. It just checks that at least it has 1 byte. Okay, and it's called twice from the main function. Wants to open the file that has questions and see it has, actually let's make this like this, and second to open the file that has answer keys. Okay, all it does is just open the file. It doesn't read the file. Reading is done by another function. Okay, let's see the code of this function. So we jump to the code, and I'm gonna fold, let me fold all the codes because otherwise, okay, so let's see, code folding, fold methods and functions. So okay, that'll work. So but I do need to unfold this one. So unfold, code folding, where's that? Yeah, unfold. Okay, we use a flag control loop to achieve goal of this function. Okay, in flag control loop, we set a Boolean flag done to false, and in the loop we test the condition not done. Since it was set to false, not false will be true, so loop will be entered no matter what. This variable holds the name of the input file because that is needed. We need to do this clear just in case in later processing that if ifstream object input goes into fail state because file doesn't exist, then the loop has to repeat and then input has to be cleared. So we just clear it up front. Okay. Here user gets a message, and message will be please input the name of the data file with questions. If questions have to be read, it will say questions to be read. If answers have to be read from the answer file, it will say please input the name of the data file with answers to be read. Okay. And get line gets us the full path to the file name, which in Windows it is required because in Windows file and folder names could have white spaces in them. Okay. On line 164, we fed feedback to the user the name of the file. In case they typed a wrong name, they will at least know what name they typed. And then we open the file by passing it to the open function and converting the in file to a C string. And there are many ways you can do this. I've done this different ways, different times. So input.fail will be true if file did not exist or it didn't have read permission, either way. Okay, and then we tell them again that this file does not exist, and we set the done to false. Rest of the code is under this else block all the way up to here. So what happens is that if this if block executes, then this entire else block inside the loop does not execute. And since done was set to false, not false is true over here. So I go back and do the clear on the input because when it failed to open here, input becomes in the fail state, which is basically false. So input.clear revives the stream again to be used again. And then we ask the name of the file again and we get it again. And basically user cannot get out of this loop if input.fail is true. Okay. All right. So if input.fail is false, that means file does exist. That means user provided the correct name for the file, full path. Then what we do is we peek inside the file, and what peek does, it gets the first, it looks at the first character in the file, and if file is empty, it will be the EOF character in the file. And that means that input.eof function will return a true. Okay. If file is empty, then function EOF dotted with the if stream returns true. And then we can safely say that file has no data in it. And we still need to set done to false because, hey, what good is it to have a file that is empty? It doesn't do any good. And I close the input at this time because it was opened. And that means that user will not get out of this one. Done is false, so it will return to the top of the loop again. Not done is true, and go through all this process. So basically you cannot get out of this code until the file exists and file has at least 1 byte of data in it. Okay. But if this is false, that means file exists, and if this is false, that means file has some data in it. Then you drop back to this else block, and actually we are done then, and done sets to true, and we get out of the loop. And by then, if stream input has been bonded to a file that exists and has some data in it. Okay, and then after ending the while loop, we just print that file has been opened and it has data in it. All right, and since ifstream is passed by reference, the calling function will get a ifstream object that is bonded to a file, and the file has some data in it. All right. Okay, that was the openFile function, and I can see in my video I'm hitting already 11 minutes. YouTube does not allow more than 15 minutes. It looks like I'm just going to have to do one function per video. So I'm going to stop this video here, and then next one I'll discuss fill questions array function, because questions have to be read from a questions input file and placed inside this array called questions. Okay, I'll see you in video number 3. Thank you.